My name is Mark Jackson, and this is MEX Multimedia Studio and MEX Multimedia Institute. MEX is an acronym of a couple of names put together by relatives of the Jackson family in Takrady. MEX Multimedia is a multimedia studio which have the capability to do production for film, documentaries, music videos, event coverage, and also graphics. Talk about compositions and picture manipulations and posters and brochures, magazines, and all aspects of graphic design. And as part of MEX Multimedia being a training institution, we also train people on how to become a well-trained personnel to be able to work on their own or work for any of the agencies within the industry space. And we train people under how to do camera handling, how to do digital photography, video editing, filmmaking. And the other aspect is the media, that is the broadcast journalism, radio DJing, and TV presentation, radio presentation. The culture here at MEX Multimedia starts from the basics, which means that I, being the leader of the team, have a background of fine arts, which is one of the major programs that were being done in O-level art. And our culture of how operations goes on here starts from there. It means that most of the jobs that we execute here have to go through the process of illustration before the work itself starts. And on that basis, almost everyone here knows how to illustrate and knows how to work with a pencil, pen before we even start working. And it's more of, a family. So each of us here have a role to play, and each of us here have his or her own capability to support production. So there's always this production meeting that I have to go on to be able to have certain discussions and certain areas being cleared out to all departments within the space. And when those meetings are done, then roles will be designated to heads of the departments within the space. Then from there, we decide on how to take up the production. At this point, we have those who are within the technical department to be able to make sure that what we need are all set in terms of the cameras, the tripods, the lights. These things will be procured before the production starts. And there are a couple of times that we have to revisit the drawing board to discuss about the production, because if it's something that we are going to do outside the studio, we need to make sure that everything is set before we move out of the studio. So production here in MEX Multimedia go through series of discussions on the drawing board and series of meetings to make sure we get the discussion or to make sure we get the project right. Because we have a wide range of creative guys in-house, we are not geared to one line of inspiration. Like, we are not inspired by one thing. We are not glued to one style of creation. We pick ideas from everywhere. What makes MEX different from other competitors is that somebody will start off knowing only the electronic part of designing, which is just the PC. But I cut across all those ones. And because of that, I can have certain level of judgment to certain projects which some other person might not see. Those ones let some of the works that I do stand out from the other people, because I have a different way of how I look at the things that I'm doing, and I try to incorporate all the other elements that comes in the other space to be able to have the work done well. Well, I don't really see clients being difficult in this. Depends on where you stand and what you are looking at. So somebody might come to you and he would want a job executed for you. It's either you go into his space or he come into your space. This means that it's either you understand him from where he is, or you try and educate him for him to understand what you intend doing for the person. Well, principles in art and photography and communication doesn't change. And mostly what I would say is that anybody who would want to be very successful here should be able to have the grip of the basics so well, which will never change. Because, the application of these basics or these elements that we know, or the principles, doesn't really change. The only thing that will change is the tool that you are using. Be it the software or the camera or, the manuals, the things that you have to operate manually, those that will change. So if you want to be successful after you have practically learned all these things, or probably if you think you are talented, you have to still go in there and harness your talent. You have to still work on your talent, because if the talent is there and if you don't work on it, it will die out. So you have to work on it. As one. Two, after all these things are put together, then you should learn a bit about, if you want to work alone, then you have to have some level of training in terms of entrepreneurship and some level of management, because art alone or creativity alone can't do it all. But there are some level of times that you have to go through some level of managerial thinking for you to be able to get your job or your workers or whatever you are doing done well. This is what I have personally done using the agency. We offer internship for students who are serious and who are really hardworking in our workspace, and students who come for internship are given attention. At times we render programs in terms of some bit of training for them, so that things that they don't know, they get to know before they leave the space. Now, Max Multimedia have a multimedia training institute which is affiliated with the Separate Technical University, and our aim is to be able to train people hands-on and have some level of theory and a lot of practical sections for you to be able to do what you want to do in terms of doing a lot of things practical, so that when you go into the industry space, you'll not be found wanting.